Hello, my name is Logan Kahler, the Boone News-Republican. Today we have another candidate who is running for school board election. Election will be this it'll be November 5th, not too long
November
from
5th.
now. And we got a pretty interesting race this year. We have 5 candidates running for 3 positions. So if I remember correctly, Gene, who's our guest, is our only running incumbent. Correct. Okay, Gene. So that means that you have the upper hand, right?
Maybe.
So go ahead, Gene. Tell me why you decided to rerun for school board.
Well, I am passionate about 2 things, really. The kids that I feel are the most vulnerable, which would be like our special ed kids, our kids that are at risk. And some of the programs that we've gotten for those kids, I want to make sure that they continue. We've got the EDGE program, we've got the IJAG program, which are basically work to career programs to help kids that maybe aren't on the college path.
Right.
And the more we can do to help those kids, the better I like it. The other thing that I'm passionate about is I was the union president for support staff for 17 years.
Wow.
And I worked for 28 and was president for 17. And so I have kind of a unique perspective of how things work. And I want to make sure that we protect the permissive bargaining rights of employees. And I want to make sure that we're there doing as much as we can for the employees. So those are some of my passions.
That's great. And you're completely right. You do have a unique perspective. Everybody who's came through the door so far, they have experience, and so do you. But you offer a different type of experience. So let's kind of jump back a little bit. The EDGE and the IJAG program. We can go into those in detail if you'd like, but I'm more curious, what part did you play in those 2 programs?
Actually, just being supportive. Most people don't realize this, but Boone is actually on the cutting edge. I mean, we are one of the leaders in the state for these types of programs. And Chris Byam has really been instrumental in getting these programs up and running. And there's been other people that I shouldn't probably mention anyone because I'll forget to mention people, but he was really instrumental. And I have been just totally supportive. Anything that we as a board can do to support these kids and the kids that, like I say, the at-risk kids. We have the YSS comes in and works with kids, and we have a lot of mental health issues, and not just our district. It's throughout the entire country, and I'm really personally focused on trying to help facilitate these kids in any way we can.
Definitely. So, going on with your experience as a board member, give me an example of a challenge that you had while on the school board, and how did you overcome that challenge?
Well, one of the things when I first got on the board, I realized that special ed kids have IEPs, individual education plans. And I realized that because of staffing shortages, we weren't always necessarily able to meet all their needs. We were trying to shift people around. And so I was very instrumental, probably my first 2 months on the board, in making sure that we had more employees or longer hours for employees so that we did have coverage for those students. That was a huge thing. And that's probably one of my biggest accomplishments as far as I'm concerned. That and making sure when collective bargaining rights were taken away, that we continued as a district to negotiate the permissive items. Yeah. Those are a couple of things.
So I guess we kind of actually jumped right into questions, and I forgot to actually give you a little bit of time to talk about yourself. So tell me, it's like with the other candidates, I gave them time in the beginning of their interviews to tell me about themselves. Tell me about who you are, a little bit about your background, and your experience in the education field, other than what you told me before, of course.
If I can remember what I told you before.
No.
Let's see. I'm 67 years old, and I honestly I'll be honest, I questioned if I should run again because of my age, and I thought maybe we need some younger people. But then I thought, I've done this for 4 years. I'd really like to put another 4 into it to accomplish some of the things that we've got started. I have, how many grandkids? 18 grandkids, 6 great-grandkids, 5 kids, and a lot of them have gone through Boone schools and graduated. And so when we moved here in 1986, I started working that year as a teacher associate because my youngest was in kindergarten, and it was perfect hours. And I loved the job. I loved working. I worked 16 years at Lincoln, and then the last 12 at middle school, with a focus mostly on special ed and BD kids, kids with behavior disorders. And I currently do respite care part-time for kids on the child mental health waiver here in Iowa. And just my whole life, it's just been about kids. I love kids. I love working with kids. I love being around kids. I love defending kids and trying to see that they have their needs met. Right. And that's pretty much me.
Good deal. So, you were at the last school board meeting.
Oh, yeah.
And you were part of the, I don't call it like a ruling, but the school board approved, was it funding for
the SRO?
For the SRO.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of give me your thoughts and your feelings on having an SRO in the public school system.
I really am torn. I know that that's not probably a popular answer, but there's been a lot of research done. And I'm not 100% sure that that's the best use of our money. But given today's climate, I just think, I really strongly like the person, they have Officer Bailey, is who's going to be the SRO. And I have met him, and he, I think, is going to do a great job. I really think he has a lot of empathy for the kids and things. That being said, I'm hopeful. One of my biggest concerns, too, is that in 3 years, when is the funding going to be there? Mm-hmm. And what kind of an uproar is going to be in the community if the funding's not there? Right. If we really can't continue to have an SRO. That's a concern I have. So, like I say, I have mixed feelings, but I think, it's what we're going to do for 3 years, and I think it's going to work out. My biggest other concern would be we have one, and he's going to be spread so thin in different buildings. My understanding is his office is going to be at the high school. But if there's an incident at a different building, right, there's going to be a lot of times that just regular beat patrol officers are going to be there on the scene probably before he can get there. Right. So we don't have funding for all the buildings. So I don't know how effective it's going to be, but I'm hopeful it'll be effective. But I support having him.
Good. Okay. So, say you are reelected. Looking in the future, what do you hope to accomplish as a school board member in your second term?
One of the things I didn't mention, 3 of the 4 years since I've been on the board, and I'm not taking credit for this, but I think our PR and our community relations outreach has been instrumental in this. We have increased the student population for 3 of the last 4 years. Oh. And I want to continue to see our enrollment increase rather than decrease. That's huge. Mm-hmm. I want to be part of the superintendent search And hopefully we'll get a candidate who has the vision to continue to move us forward. And of course, there's the elementary building. That will be a bond issue coming up, and I'd like to be instrumental in that. Those are the biggest things right now. And that and continuing to see our education, our to work programs, our career programs grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. You know, I haven't talked to anybody in deep detail about the superintendent search, but I'm kind of curious. Since you were given a unique opportunity to work with the current superintendent for the last leg of his career here, what qualities do you think we need to see in a superintendent who is going to be applying for our school district?
I want to see honesty. I want to see transparency. I want to see someone that has a vision to bring us forward with our new building, be able to help pass the bond issue, and not lose focus on the students. At the end of the day, I think all 5 candidates I think we all have good intentions, the right intentions. We want to see what's best for kids.
Right.
And so I can't fault anybody on that. The reason that, and you didn't ask, but I'm supporting Pat Teben and Pam Nystrom, and that is because between the 3 of us, we have over 100 years of educational background experience working in schools, and it's at all levels. It's administrative level, it's at the classroom level, and it's at the support staff level. And so I can work with anyone, but I think it'll be easier to work with people who really have the background.
Definitely. Have a similar
Right.
backgrounds like you guys do.
Exactly.
That's good. Perfect. Is there anything else that you'd like to add that I might not have asked you?
Well, let me look at my notes. Because I have some. Let's see. I talked about the IJAG and the EDGE programs. We have also implemented this Toreador Tots program for the parents of 0 to 5-year-olds. And there's website activities if people want to check that out. And we've expanded the Little Toreador sports program because I guess I really haven't said much about the younger kids. And I want to get a shout out to the Boone Boosters. They fund sports, they fund theater, music, all the extracurricular activities. And I want to plug the play that they are currently rehearsing. It's Into the Woods. It'll be at the high school on October 31st, November 1st, and November 2nd.
Yeah.
So be sure to go. That's
awesome.
Probably about all. I think I've covered pretty much everything else.
Perfect. Well, thank you for stopping in, Jean. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
This has been Jean Sorsen, who is a current school board member, and she's rerunning. Election day is November 5th. Go out and vote. Thank you.